Hello friends, so today I'm going to tell you my life story, and I know Emily Jolly is also doing this too, so might as well have you guys check that out. Shows, I don't know what I just said, but that's okay. Anyway, so here's my life story for you guys. So when I was about 3 or 4 years old, I was with my mom, okay, and so we were having fun, and I still remember this guy's name, and his name was Christopher Kenny, and he came into our house. I think my mom found him on a dating site, but it's okay. And he came into our house. My mom was nice to him, and so then we had to leave because we couldn't afford the apartment anymore because they were drinking and whatever, and I was just there. And afterwards we moved to Topeka, I think, and we lived there for like 3 years, and I still remember this. It's sort of life changing, sort of just scares me to death. My mom got abused by him, and he would like choke her against the wall, and they cuss at her and whatever. And I never saw it happen before, but I heard them yelling at each other, and I wanted to take a peek because I was in my room and my doors were closed, and I opened my door quietly, looked through, and I saw my mom being choked by Christopher Kenny. And now I'm like, oh gosh, and then I close the door, and then I just go into my bed and just start, what is happening? And so we also lived in Oregon, but I was always bullied there, and here's some reasons how I got bullied. Everybody hated me, and they treated me sort of disrespectfully. They thought I was like sort of like a dummy, like a practice dummy, you know, and they would try to be mean to me, I guess. And I remember this one time on the bus on my way home from school, I was just talking to them. We were all laughing, having fun. I don't know if they planned this or not, but they started pushing me off into the middle of the bus and calling me trash and garbage, and I started sobbing. And then once I got home, I started crying, and then I went to my house. So yeah, and that's how I got bullied in Oregon. But now, like after, okay, I didn't tell you this part. In Topeka, Christopher Kenny just ditched us, and he took all the stuff and sold them for money so then he can get a ride. And I never knew where he lived after that, but last he was seen apparently was in North Carolina. So I'm just like, are you kidding me? Because the police were trying to find him, you know, and he would have been put in jail by now, but he's not. So next thing that happened, my mom has a weird brain thing, okay, and she like goes crazy when she's really stressed out, and she doesn't know what happens when she's back to normal. And so after that, we got a new house, and we went to our new house, and she heard a noise in the attic, and she started screaming, and I was asleep on the couch. She was showering, and then she walked outside screaming, help, help, you know. And so the stranger walks up and started telling her and me that he needs to call the police and whatever. And so the police came, and they searched the house, but the attic was open, and the back door was wide open because the man left. And so finally I got back to sleep. I was scared as heck. And we went back into our house, and so we went, like I said, we went back to sleep. I'm just sort of nervous because it just scares me thinking about it. And the next morning, my mom is cussing in our neighbor's front yard, and our dogs got let out. And so our neighbor had a nanny, like, watching their son, I think. And so she was there telling us not to leave the dogs out. And I just started crying and telling her how much my life sucks and my backstory and everything. And she feels so bad, and she calls the police. My mom goes to the hospital, and I'm at the police station for almost the whole day. And then finally my grandma comes, and I had to live with her for about 3 or 4 years. And my mom told me that she got abused by her as well. She didn't, like, put her anger out in any other way, but just abused my mom. And she had 2 brothers, and she was the only one that got treated badly. And so I got sort of treated badly. They lied to me a lot, and they were just rude to me. It doesn't help me any, and then once I started to live with my mom full time like I am now, well, some of the time, I don't live with her all the time. It's just harder for me. Once I got to start living with my mom, my stomach started aching super badly, and oh man, I was on this very floor, just like this, laying on the ground crying because it hurt so much. And I remember I had grilled cheese and tomato soup. November 6, 2018, I was in the hospital. I went to school that morning, okay, and so I went to PE. Yeah, I had PE, and my stomach was aching because someone, like, threw a ball at my stomach. I don't know who, but it's okay. And so I went to the nurse. I was in there for a few hours, and then they finally checked my temperature, and I was able to be sent home, and my mom scheduled an appointment for the doctor, and I was there for about 5 hours, and I had a I don't want to say it on camera, but I had to do something, and I couldn't, and it was really hard for me, and I was starting to cry and started worrying. And so once I finally was able to do it, they told me to go to the hospital and go to the PICU. And finally, once we got to the hospital, I was like, hold on 1 second, and I'm really nervous, okay, and I puked in the parking lot. And then we went to the hospital inside, and they didn't let us in. Then finally the doctor came in and was like, oh, okay, fine, we believe you and whatever. And so I went to the PICU. I was in the hospital for 3 days. And that's how my life is now, because I have diabetes type 1. And that's basically how my life is. It's just harder now that I have diabetes, and I'm still not with my mom full time. I'm with my grandma every other weekend, and I see her every day. It's just harder for me, because whenever I see her, I just want to be nice to her, because whenever I wanted to be with my mom full time, she would always get mad at me for saying that. So that's my life for ya. Comment down below if you think that's bad life or not, because I honestly don't care. I'm a failure, and I'm a mistake, and I'm a stupid person who deserves to die. Those are my thoughts all the time. Yay! Have fun, Emily Jolly. I'm sorry if I made you feel worse because I'm a stupid idiot who should die. Anyway, bye!